Dragon Ball community, welcome back to another video here with Cow Chris as we continue to go through the anniversary box support. And today we're going to go over Syn Shenron. This is the Xeno Syn Mill deck. And this is a deck that I have been really wanting support for ever since I chopped with it last, which was a few years ago. And this is a deck that has a lot of potential to be... It's a very uninteractive mill deck in some stages of the game. Its defense is very linear, but with the new tools, there is a way of playing this a little more aggressively, and I think this is probably the way you should play the deck, and I'll kind of talk about that when we get to certain choices that I made in the deck. So, this is a, whenever you activate a extra card, which I call them spells, so if I say that in the video, that's kind of what I'm referring to. On the Unawakened side, your opponent and you both mill the top card of your deck. In the Awakened side, your opponent mills the top card of the deck. And this is not a once per turn, so this is every time you activate one. On the auto on this side, you discard a Shadow Dragon from your hand to draw one, and then switches leader to active mode. On the Awakened side, you just draw, gain 5k, and do the same thing. And as you can see, the leader does have blocker, which, that's pretty important. That does come up quite often. You awaken at 4 life or 7 dragons in the drop, and on the Awakened side, you have an activate mana or battle, Spirit Boost 1 on either turn, and you can activate a spell from your hand for free with no, doesn't matter the energy cost requirement. Alright, so this is a 60 card build. You do self mill, and since like things like Zamasu and Cooler Mill are in the meta, and you might run into the mirror at some point, probably playing 60 is still going to be the best for you. So we're gonna start with the four of the unison. This is kind of a mandatory card. Zero specific cost, so this card cannot be black smoked. So that's something to keep in mind. +1, you draw a card, you bottom deck 1, and then bottom deck up to 3 spells from the drop. Just allows you to refuel your spells, and just to make so that you don't also mill out. So you basically can add 3 cards back to your deck every turn. -7 never comes up, but you can play 7 black Shadow Dragons from the drop, or your hand never comes up. And if you block with your leader, you have to do this. Place the top card of your deck in the drop, and then this card gains a marker. So that does kind of... Early, it kind of sucks, because if you mill certain cards like your secret rare or your super combos, you can't get them back. But just sort of a risk you have to take. So we have the 1-drops. I play 5 1-drops. So we have 2 of the Natron. When you play it, you add a spell from the drop. And then this also has an effect, other than this card, and like 2 other cards in the deck, they all have this effect. Actually, no, both of these cards have the same effect. This card, when this card is discarded by a Shadow Dragon, you can look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a Shadow Dragon, you add it to your hand. If not, you place it at the bottom of the deck. So what's nice about this is that this is the only one in the game, I think, in the deck that has the discard effect, but not the on-play effect. Most of the other Shadow Dragons, this top extra card, this top auto part, is when it's played and when it's played or discarded by a Shadow Dragon effect. So your leader counts as obviously your leader is a Shadow Dragon. So you can swing, you can discard one of these guys, and then you can look at the top card of your deck after you draw your leader, and then you can add that top card if it's a Shadow Dragon. So it's essentially you're not losing a card, you're just cycling through 2 different cards in your deck. So it's like a minus. It's a discard 1, draw 2, essentially. That's kind of the idea of this leader. This guy has an effect, the same thing as your Awakened leader, which is Spirit Boost for 1, and then play any sort of spell. This allows you later in the game, because this is not a limit 1, you can play out multiple of these and then activate different spells, and then just force your opponent to mill more and more, and you can sort of like uninteractively mill your opponent, very similar to like how Zamasu can now. For Oceania super combos, this is the super combo you play because it's searchable. Sparking 5 super combo, and then also this is the old Spirit Boost effect, where if you activate Spirit Boost, you can tuck this from your hand to add a marker to your unison and then draw a card. It never comes up, but there are those times where maybe you just need the extra markers to Spirit Boost more, and then you can do that as well. Alright, so now we have the 3-drops. We have Rage, Ice, and Natron. All of these... Well, this guy is the only one you can play technically for 1. These 2 we're going to play for 1, but I'll show you the card that does that. It's one of the new cards. Rage is the negate. If you have 7 or more in the drop, Shadow Dragons, he becomes a 1 cost. He does play in rest mode, which is kind of weak. But again, with the same effect, when he's played or discarded, you get to look at the top card and add it to your hand. And then Natron is a deflect blocker, absorbs a 5 cost on board or in your drop, 5 or less, and then you gain 1 keyword skill. This is really cool into Zamasu because you can play this. You can gain like indestructible. You can take one of their cards from the drop. That way they can't fuse or they don't have any other fusion targets. If your opponent counterplays this, like they play like a charismatic villain or defeating the demon, you can absorb that card on board, and since you're the owner of the whatever that is, owner of the card, you will get the autos. So then you can do whatever the effects are. That's pretty cool. And this guy is a barrier blocker who restands at the end of the turn. So that's pretty cool. We have 4 Nova, 20k crit, and you also can pitch this card from your hand to, you go to the warp. You burst 1, you search top 5 for a Shadow Dragon that costs 5 or less. That's also pretty good as well. He's also a very cool card to play off later on off of an extra card that we have in the game now, and so it allows you to be a little more aggressive. 2 Omegas. This is similar to allies absorbed from the yellow Shadow Dragons. You pay 1, you sacrifice a 5 cost or less Shadow Dragon on board, send it to the drop, play this card, and then warp one of your opponent's battle cards. And this is all in the activate main, so this card can't be counterplayed. He's a unique. I think they should have. I don't think they should have given this card unique. I think having the ability of being able to play out these 30Ks would be just make this deck. It'd make it better. It wouldn't make it like tier 1, but it would just give you the ability of just playing this card at 4 up, because this is a really strong card if you could play multiple of them, but the fact that it's just unique and it's kind of weak. For Oceanus, everyone should know what this card does by now. This is the only deck in the game that can play this card and utilize the auto effect, which is, again, when it's played or discarded. So you can play this card from your hand and then discard a black Shadow Dragon, and now you can basically draw a card off Oceanus and then draw a card off of another card. So this basically allows you to go neutral in hand while playing one of the best negates in the game. This card destroys yellow, because yellow, other than using like Begrudging Ally, they can't hit this card, so it's gonna come down and it's gonna, the effect's gonna go in play. 3 Power of Darkness Syn. This can be played for 1 if you remove a marker using a Spear Boost effect, and this card also actually mills your opponent a card too. So when you activate an extra card for free, which all the extra cards also make your opponent mill because they're your leader, this will make your opponent mill another card. So that's really strong. And he's a double striker, so you can use this to help clear unisons, which is typically what you're going to do with this deck. For the new Power of the Darkness Syn Shenron, Deflect Barrier. For 1 black, if your opponent has 2 more energy, you play this card. You and your opponent both draw 2 cards, and then they discard 1 card as well as you do. Now, this is also a Shadow Dragon, so remember, all of your other Shadow Dragons, other than your Super Combo and I think it's just a Super Combo, and actually itself can't do that as well. You can draw a card. So this is a plus. You're drawing 3 new cards. That's really strong. This is also milling your opponent 2 cards too, so keep that in mind. So Barrier Deflect is really strong. Then this other effect, actually I should state this. This top effect is not locked to this leader, so you can actually play this in other black decks, and I think this is going to be a really strong, just generic black card for decks that are just not Saiyan based as we go on into the next set. Maybe we get some cool Daima stuff. Maybe we get a cool black leader that's not Saiyan related, but this card can be played in anything. Activate main, place this card into the owner's drop. Choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, send them to the warp. Again, this is not locked to the leader, this part of the effect. So you can tap 1, play this guy for 1, basically draw 3 cards, swing with it for 20, then tap another one, warp any 2 cards on board, no energy cost requirement, and then if your leader is a Shadow Dragon card, so just Shadow Dragon, so this can also work in yellow or red technically, play up to 1 Omega Shenron Ultimate Darkness from your hand, which is this guy. This is a 30k triple striker with unique. The old way is you had to warp 7 from the drop, and you need 3 energy, and you pay 2 for him, and that's just not great. We don't want to do that. On this, we can do this a turn earlier, and we don't need to pay 2 for it. We can pay 1 for this, and then we can go into another turn, and then pay 1 on top of this, and then play this guy. And then he's a 30k triple striker. Same thing, when he's played, you'll draw a card. And this is a way for you to, like, on turn 2 or turn 3, like, if your opponent's not really paying attention, you can, like, really spam out a lot of damage between this, a card I'm going to show you guys in a second, and then this guy here. Like, you can punch pretty hard, especially because this card can swing. That's really nice. Like, this guy can swing. This guy puts himself in the drop for your awakened side, your awaken requirement, and then you can play this guy out. Like it's so much good value. 3 is fine, I think, just so it's a 30k, so like if you need it for like E-Dance, like you can also do that as well. Now the secret rare, this is one of the big changes, and this is probably a card a lot of people are not really familiar with. Corrupted by Darkness. This is the secret rare that came out with the deck. So it's a yellow secret rare, it's an ultimate blocker, but it's also treated as black in all areas. So this card is treated in black in all areas, which is really nice. This is also a Shadow Dragon, meaning that this card is searchable off of all of your effects that grab Shadow Dragons. So this is a black Shadow Dragon, so you can grab this off of all of your cards, which is nice because the actual Black Smoke Dragon secret rare is not, so you actually can't grab that card. If this card is removed from the game, this has basically the old moniker for ultimates. But you can tap one to combo this because it's a 10k one cost. You can tap another one at the end of the battle. You can play this card from your hand. Play from the drop. If you do, choose any number of your opponent's leaders, battle cards, and unisons equal to or less than their current energy, ignoring barrier and switching the rest mode. So this allows you to, if your opponent has just a gigantic board and they have like 4 or 5 energy, you can play this and then just tap down everything. You also can tap 4 to give this guy dual attack and double strike, which can come up, but typically just because you can search this guy and also you can just use him as like defense if you really need to. It's nice. The activate main probably won't come up for most games, but just having this guy searchable, I think is a little bit better than using the other Black Smoke, especially because the meta is going to have some sort of mill in it between this and Zamasu. And if you mill that card, or like if you're milling it yourself, like you would just want to have them a little more consistency so you can actually grab this guy. Now we get to the extra, all of the spells here. So we have a negative energy charge. So keep in mind, all the extra cards, when you activate them, your opponent mills 1 because of your leader effect. So this guy is a negate. You can grab a Dragon Ball, which we don't play the Dragon Balls. And then this allows you, the activate main battle allows you to play either the Dragon Ball secret rare, or you can tap 4 and play the Black Smoke Eternal Evil from your hand or your deck, which is typically the secret rare that you see for most builds. But we're only playing 3 of this, just because we're not playing that Black Smoke, so we don't need 4 of them. 2 Ultimate Dragon Quake. This is a in combat, typically, way to warp one of your opponent's battle cards. So you warp a card greater than your opponent's energy, and then if they have 15 or fewer cards in their deck, instead of coming into play at the end of the turn, it goes to the drop. So obviously, like secret rares, this is like great against secret rares, great against the battle cards, because those just get removed from the game. But also people who don't have good, like a familiar idea with how this deck works, they might hand dump on like a double striker, triple striker, or put a little too many combo pieces into something. Then you can just pay 1 or Spirit Boost and then just warp it. 2 Ultimate Ice Rays. The 2 costs are kind of interesting because all the 2 cost extra cards also make your opponent mill a card. So you're milling 1 off of this and then 1 off your leader. You may pitch 2 black cards from your hand. If you do, your opponent gets 1 more battle card attack for the turn. This is also a Shadow Dragon. All the Shadow Dragon extra cards, actually all the extra cards also count as Shadow Dragons. So that means if you pitch something off of Ultimate Ice Ray, like any of these battle cards, you can still do the searching effect where you look top 5. You look at the top card, add it to your hand as a Shadow Dragon. So that's really cool as well. And I believe it's any Shadow Dragon. So if it's a Shadow Dragon card, so you can grab all the extra cards and all the battle cards back. This guy here is some of the most needed support, I think, for this deck. Other than like a Z Unison, which I think would have been really helpful, this card is probably the best piece of support that in this deck could have gotten. So this extra card in itself, activate mana battle. So for Void Energy Flare, if it's your turn when you activate this, your opponent mills a card. So this essentially acts like a 2 cost, and then you get to play a 3-drop Shadow Dragon from your hand. So you can play either one of these guys. Typically, you're not gonna play this guy because you would rather tap 1 to play this guy, but you can play this guy, this guy, this guy, the crit guy, or the double striker. And this is no energy requirement for you or your opponent. So you can go turn 1, play this, play out a 3 cost, and then pass, and now you have a 20k crit on board or a double striker, and now you can start pressuring your opponent literally on turn 2. The other part of this card that's good is it has an also effect on your opponent's turn. Your opponent may place the top 2 cards of their deck in the drop. If they don't, you get to draw 2 cards. So early they might not allow you to draw, but later on in the game you'll be able to. And this also makes them mill a card, obviously, because it's your leader effect. So if they do this on your opponent's turn, they're milling 3. if they do that effect, and that might not be as worth it, so they might allow you to draw cards. So this actually allows you to kind of build up your hand size a little bit, which is something that the deck's kind of missing. This is just this is basically a hard +1. Ultimate Whirlwind Spin, and then Negative Energy Explosion. These are your searchers. Whirlwind searches out battle cards, and this searches out any black Shadow Dragon. So you can search out your super combo with this. Your super combo, you can search out your secret rare, your 8-drops, whatever you need. The other effect is you can pitch a Shadow Dragon to get 1k for the turn. This used to be good when battle cards were 15ks and 19ks. Not now. Everything's 20k, so you're never going to do that bottom effect. But the top effect, the main effect, just the search, is obviously really good. And then this guy searches top 7, grabs any spell, or if you don't have a unison in play for Toho, you can play Toho from your top 7 with a marker on it as well. So ideally, your way of kind of killing is you're using Void Energy Flare on turn 1 to play out a double striker or a crit or whatever it is, and then turn 2 you go into Syn here. Actually, your opponent would need 2, so you can go into another Void Energy Flare if you want. You can technically play this off of Void Energy Flare, and then go into this as well. So like that's also an option. So you can go that on turn 2 technically. You're probably not going to do that, but that is something that you can do. But being able to spam out these 20k crits and double strikers is really strong. Also, while you're milling your opponent, so you can also, you're just kind of applying pressure while they're losing cards from hand and while they're losing cards from deck. And it's so it's a lot of things to kind of manage, and not a lot of people can deal with that. The Z deck is really bland because there's no actual like support for this deck that the Z deck really kind of amplifies this deck's power. So we just did 2 of all the actual good black, just generic cards. So 2 Fighting Spirit for removal basis, 2 Surmounting just to help us maybe get to Awakened Condition. Mighty Blast is probably the most played one in this deck just because it's a defensive card. You can warp something in 5 or less. So that way you can like save Quake for something else. Journey Through Time, you can use it as pressure. Warps a card ignoring barrier as well, and then 2 Boo is a blocker that also removes something as well. So that's really kind of like it. There is no real sideboard tech, like other than like you play Quates, you play Black Smoke. Everything else is just kind of mid. You might play like others. There's other copies of the extra cards. There's like one that stops you from taking damage, you crit a life. There's one that interacts more with unisons. So you have like a little bit of variety, but I think this is probably, you want to definitely run more battle cards than anything, because you're going to be putting these extra cards back into your deck. So you're going to be seeing multiple copies of these guys, while the battle cards, once they're gone, you're not getting them back. So this is the list. Take it for a spin. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys are going to be playing this deck at all. I will be playing this deck a lot. I'm going to terrorize some people with it just because I know the power of what this deck can do, and with the new support, it's definitely much better. So thank you guys for watching as always. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.